Your authentic self is perfect. And that self is not who you are today, and it's not who you were yesterday. It's who you are choosing to become. And that's for all of us because we're always in that place of becoming our authentic selves. That is why we were born. But sometimes that gets really challenging. But see, I discovered that becoming your authentic self is the way that you live your best life. And I discovered that yesterday. Actually, I've known it for a while, but I did a channeling session yesterday for the full moon, a Wilhelm channeling session, and I listened to it and I go, oh, wow. Yeah, I had so much and I knew all of that. We all do. But it's a process of remembering who we are, our unique life paths, and why we're on the earth, because it's true for every single person. It just comes about in different ways for each of us. And my message that I received on this day was you were supposed to be unique. That is each of us. But see, we have to move through all the old stuff. And so you can think of this as self development, let's call it that, or self actualization. Or finally, you can think of it as ascension, because that is what we're all doing. When we come into the earth, we don't live forever. We want to have really great lives and prosper and become abundant, which we've all heard that's what we're supposed to do. But why aren't we doing it? It's because we have old programming. And so we have to move through the old programming, which is that process of raising our consciousness or ascending. And sometimes it shows up really differently, and that's what happened for me. And I posted something yesterday, and you can read it. It says that you and your world will change in 2024. And it's all the information that I've received from my Wilhelm over the years and talking about this particular time in our world. We've all seen what's happened. It's very different. We couldn't understand it, but I did, and this is what I'm talking about. And so I'm saying this today because that listening to that channeling session was really awakening for me, and I know it will be for you, but also because I needed to explain the work that I'm doing now, because that's the one question that I receive all the time. What is 4 weeks to your best life, for instance, or your last develop? What does any of this mean? It is a philosophy. Your life operating instructions is a philosophy that I've spent years of my life downloading. And that philosophy says that every single soul who comes onto the earth plane has a unique purpose and value that can be actualized. All that has to happen is they have to move through the restrictions and limitations that have been there. Then they start to make a meaningful contribution to the world, but also they live really great lives. Now, coming to understand and accept that was really challenging for me, as it was for a lot of others. Because when I started talking about it, I opened the program 3 years ago, the 4 weeks to your best life, and people said, that doesn't seem possible. And they kept arguing with me, that couldn't happen. I said, yeah, it's happening. 31 days of 31 assignments that someone could do, and they come out knowing their life purpose or feeling like they have their life purpose or not being afraid to live it, or they're now all of a sudden they're more confident. Now they're looking at themselves in a new way, and they're also seeing the world differently also. That's the process of moving to that fifth dimensional thinking or a higher state of consciousness, which I have said that that is what is occurring in our world. And that's what this work is. Now, I'm saying this because I've been asked to do several different things, but in the session yesterday, as you will hear, it's like, no, I'm supposed to be channeling information, bringing in this information for the collective so that we eventually have a much better world than what we have now. And that could seem really ridiculous until we start to look at our own limitations. Why couldn't we do that? And that's what I had to listen to yesterday. And I listened to it from a channeling session I did a year ago as well, saying the same thing. I had been given this information that could cause any person to really love themselves, know their life purpose, and become prosperous and abundant. And then the more people who do that, you have a very different world because you stop hating each other, you stop killing others, you start doing, yeah. And the logic of that will start begin to make sense to people because see, how could we expect to live great lives if we're not accepting who we are? And then what we do when we can't do that, our lives go a little insane, and then we start blaming everyone else for that. And I can say that because I did that. for a long time in my life. But at 73, I'm no longer doing that. And this is why the rest of my life is bringing through this work and giving it to everyone because I know that it's going to make a difference. When I put it out in 2021, I was doubting it as well. I didn't know because, see, it had worked for me. It had changed my life. I'm healed. I mean, all the things that I've written about, a lot of them that didn't make sense, but now they're gone. I'm healed and I'm in the best shape of my life at 73. And I know people can do that. And then the more that we do that, we start having a very different world. It's just a natural progression that we all move through in our individual lives, but also in our society and our civilization, because we're not in the same, we don't have the same kind of awareness today that we might have experienced 500 years ago. We didn't know a lot. We know more now, but our unwillingness to go into the new unknown has always been the difficulty. But I want you to check out the session. You'll hear it. And the reason I'm talking about this is I'm making some changes because I have to now after hearing that, after listening to it, because I know where our world is going. I know what's going to be happening through the rest of this year. And for a lot of people, it's going to be challenging because you're going to be moving into unknown places of yourself. We're all ascending in different ways. And so what this work does, just so everyone understands it, it moves you to your soul mission, why you're on the earth, why you were born, why you were placed in the places you were, why you had the families you did, why you had the difficulties or challenges, because it was something within you that was meant to come forth, and all you have to do is uncover that. And that is your authentic self. And you never finish because we have so much more potential that we can achieve as individuals and as a society, as a world. But that doesn't happen unless each of us decides to bring into the world the particular gifts that we all possess. And it was challenging for me because I thought no one's going to understand or believe this. But now I have the results of that and I have the proof of that. So what I'm doing is I've opened up my 4 weeks again, but that's only until the beginning, only until February 1st. Because then after that, I mean, it'll still be there, but it'll be double the rate because I can't keep doing what I've been doing. Because what you will understand, anyone who comes into that program before that, by the end of January, you have it forever. You have the coaching calls, the group coaching calls forever. You have the program forever. You can, because a lot of people will come back and redo it. It's 31 assignments, but you can take your time doing it and everyone can afford it. So that's why I'm talking about it. So what happens is you start to raise your consciousness a bit at a time. We don't do it instantly. It took me 35 years to put this work together. So I know you don't do it instantly. It took me that long to move through all my trauma and doubt and fear and all of that. So, but I do know that we each are meant to make a contribution. Whatever we leave becomes our legacy. And my legacy is going to be that I know I've made a difference. I've left the world better than what I found it because I'm guiding so many more people to owning and loving their authentic selves and knowing their mission in this world and loving who they are and loving others. That's what's happening. So check out the session, and you can also check out the program again after February 1st. It'll be a bit different. So, but love to you all. See you soon.